Okay, we're live. I think we're live, and we should have sound. It says you are here. You're live. I am live. I am alive, and I'm wearing the same shirt I wore yesterday. I didn't get dirty. I did take a shower this morning. You're still loved. I'm doing a little cleaning on this thing. I don't want y'all to have to look at a dirty guitar, as they come in usually pretty dirty. They arrive pretty dirty. And black guitars, as you all know, are my favorite colored guitars in the world. They're the best guitars at showing fingerprints and dirt that you could ever hope to own, which is why guitar manufacturers build so many black guitars. I think it's built-in flaws. Not a fan of black guitars at all. And I see something here on this one that I might try to solve. Karen, hello, welcome. It's good to see you. I hope you're doing okay today. Zach, welcome, brother. You're everywhere, man. Holy smokes, how do you do it? I think Zach probably has like 18 tabs open, and he's like lurking in all of it. I don't know, man. Let me clean my camera off a little bit. Hopefully you don't get seasick from the wobbly wobble. It's wobbly wobbling. I have a new webcam that's going to be arriving sometime soon. It might be a little bit better than this one. We'll see. It's great to see you, Zach. I hope you're doing well. Looking forward to hearing some music from you. I have notifications set up for your channel, but oh boy, I'm glad I wasn't watching that on full screen. Holy smokes, that would have been brutal. Yeah. Okay. I did some work on this guitar. Yeah. Keep your hands occupied. That's good, Karen. This guitar came in right around the time that my house had that issue with my house. I'm way farther behind than I normally am. I usually turn guitars over. So this thing's been here about a month, a little over a month, and I'm not used to having a guitar here that long. So I'm trying to get caught up. So what all have I done on this thing so far? Well, let's take a look at it. Here's its backside, and the springs are not like I like them. I'll change that. It has no strings on it right now. The ground looks as though, the way this looks, it looks a little funky. I'm not digging that, but it might be folded over. Yeah, it's alright. I don't like bending wire like that. It's bent at a 90-degree angle and there's no solder on it. So I'm going to go ahead and get my gun out and add a little bit of solder to that and make that, improve that a little bit. These are just the little things that I do. You are everywhere, brother. The back side of the guitar, obviously it's black and it's got the body cavity. And I removed the cover so you don't have to watch me turn screws. And here's the top of this thing. Look at that. Very cool for a Strat to have humbuckers, double humbuckers. So it's a Les Paul, ultimately, right? With just looks a little, and it's not a Les Paul, but it's a pissed off Stratocaster. Okay. I'm just kind of checking the knobs and making sure that the switch feels all right. And we'll check the output jack, make sure it's an output jack. Make sure that's nice and tight. I'm going to give it one little turn here just to, yeah, I got a little bit more out of it, so that's not going to come off of there. Stuff like that, when you're working on your own instrument, check stuff like that. It'll save you a headache in the middle of a gig, right? We got tons of working musicians on here, I think. I hope. Okay. So what have I done to this thing so far? Well, This had some of the worst fretwork that could be done on an electric guitar, and it was very terrible. What it had was fret ends sticking out the end of the fingerboard so far that you could see them sticking out. And they did that work at the Fender Mexico plant, and then they shot lacquer over the ends of them. So you had every one of these frets had a little cheese grater sticking out. I call them cheese graters, so that when you're playing the instrument you could feel them, and it was very, very uncomfortable, both the top and the bottom sides of this. So yesterday I removed all of those, and I want to show you what the guitar neck looks like now, so that there's no hidden I'm not hiding anything. Let me see, maybe on the bottom half of this. Yeah, so I'm hoping that this light will show this, but you can see that at the end of each fret there's a little bit of bare wood showing, right? Because they shot lacquer over the top of it, there's no way for me to flatten that out without shooting more lacquer on it to fill these little areas where Fender thought it would be good to shoot lacquer over a terrible fret job. You shouldn't feel the edges of the frets when you play a guitar. That's uncomfortable, and it gets in the way, and it is a terrible, terrible manufacturing job. This had some of the worst fretwork, and they were sticking out a long way. If I ran my fingernail down the side of this thing, it just... So, okay. The other thing that I've done for this gentleman is removed all the plastic shit that they put when they put their pick guard on this thing. They put the plastic on, then they put all the screws through the plastic and under the knobs, and put the nuts on over the knobs and all the pickups. And so what you end up with is this shit all over the instrument. This was under one of the volume controls. This came out from under one of the volume controls. This was under one of the screws, and it just looks shoddy. If you don't take these parts off of the instrument, you end up with little shards of plastic all over the place. So I removed all of that. So now the guitar looks nice and tidy. Hey, what's happening, Richard? Yeah, hey, Falcro. Quentin James, welcome. Yes, I'm gonna throw a big pile of super glue in between every fret so that you can't even fret. We'll build new frets in between the frets, Quentin. What do you think? Is that you like that idea? And I love the fact, and your channel is super funny, man. The goofs and stuff on it are just hilarious. Okay, so I done the fretwork on this thing, got that all shaped up. I need to put some linseed oil down there to cover the exposed wood now that should have been done when the guitar was built, but you know, here we go. Little scratch on there. Oh, look at that. Okay, I'm gonna try to get that off of there, just because it's bugging me. I need to get a plastic awl, like they use at trailer manufacturing plants and places like that, so that I can scrape stuff like this off of the finish of a guitar and not worry about scratching the finish. Boy, that does not want to come off there. It's so close to the edge of that thing. Okay, I'm gonna do my best here. Just little stuff like this just bugs me. Doing this to be very careful not to scratch the finish, but to get that little, I don't know if you can see that, there's a little chunk of white, like paint or something that got right here. Come on, camera. There we go. It's a little bit of white. I got a special tool for doing that. That's not this tool's intended purpose, but I built this little scraper here. And being very, very gentle so that I don't scratch the finish of the guitar. Quentin, be sure to videotape this. You might capture me scratching a guitar, which that would make some big headlines. There we go. There we go. Alright, so that looks better. All the little things. It's the little things that count. Right? Yeah. Alright, so the other thing I've done as a preemptive strike on this is I put a neck shim in it. We've got these saddle screws sticking up high out of the saddles. Putting a neck shim to tilt the neck in a downward direction instead of an upward direction will allow me to raise these saddles and get those so that they don't cut your hand when you're palm muting. Given the fact that this thing has humbuckers in it, this is going to be a pissed off Stratocaster for playing heavy metal. Obviously I don't know what the owner, what kind of music he plays, but it'll definitely make that more comfortable. So I'm expecting to be able to, and I put a, I'm expecting to be able to get those down to an acceptable level on this. Hello.
Hi.
What can we do for you?
Nothing.
Oh, well, I'm out of a job.
I know, yeah. We don't need you at all.
Okay.
My friend's getting her car looked at. And
Oh.
We're waiting for Stu or something.
Oh, okay. Chris, I think, is out working on one other one real quick, and then he'll take a look at it. You are in very good hands.
No, I said I used to come in here in the 70s. And
Oh my
it looked
goodness.
just like this, I think.
It hasn't
Is that-
changed.
Is he your dad?
No.
No, he said my son works here or something.
Yes, he's
I
the one that's going to be
remember him
working.
from like the 70s.
Oh yeah. Yeah, this store's been open, I think, going on 48 years now.
You know, it doesn't look any different.
It hasn't changed a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
They moved in
right.
here, I think he moved in here, it would have been after the 70s, like 1981, he
Yeah,
opened
this
this
is-
business in this location.
It's kind of a blast from the past.
Yeah. I'm not the new guy anymore. His grandson works here.
All right.
Yeah, I've only been here for
You're not
15
the
years.
newbie.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh. Yeah, Chris will get you guys taken care of out there.
Well, we're not.
Okay. All right. So put a shim in the neck, and I used this material, just that little teeny shim. So I've tilted that neck ever so slightly down further. Let me get this plastic chunks off of my bench so I can keep stuff a little bit tidy here. All right. We're going to load it up today with some Ernie Ball Slinky 10s, and I promise I'll put these on backwards for you, Quentin. Just we'll do that just so to prove that I can do that. So, oh, and the other thing is I put a new string tree on this. The string tree that was on there was one of the little butterfly looking ones, and not a big fan of those. And it didn't have a shim under it, and so it was cutting into the headstock, and you might be able to see some of the damage that happened from that. Somebody would probably pull it off there and put it back on and lost a little shim. So that's been done, and we got a nice roller which makes the use of the whammy bar a little more reliable. And another thing I'm going to do is use one of these little springs and put it in the whammy bar hole here to so that whammy bar gets tight and it stays in its position. So first thing I'm gonna do right now is correct the spring location. This is how I like to do them. This is a subject of a great, well, let's do this first. I'm gonna get my solder gun out here and heat up this ground and get that thing nice and solid. I don't like the way that's attached. Again, this was probably built on a Friday, so yeah, gonna get a little solder on here, and we're gonna heat this up.
Wow, we got a whole bunch of them. So, any of these, this guy, that guy, that guy, that guy, those, that, all those will work. Do you want a CD player, DVD player?
Okay.
You know, there's one
That's
in
going to
there
be
now,
much
but
better. And I'm sorry if you couldn't see that, my camera guy. There we go. I'm going to turn my soldering gun off. Probably won't need that again.
Interface with your phone really well.
Okay.
So
So now we will pull these springs out of here and set them up the way I like to set them up. Whew.
This will also do AM/FM, but
And I'm going to scratch this guitar up completely. And I did put a scratch in it, and that's kind of cool because now I can use my new polishing compound to
camera kit
fix that. We'll make that vanish.
Oh, and that video switching unit, but
There we go. So now I like to have my spring set like that. Now, let's get some compound on that. You notice I put a little scratch in that guitar. My goodness. Gosh, what if this was a really old vintage guitar? I'd be in a lot of trouble right now.
no, that's
Sometimes stuff like that happens.
you could save $100 by going with a cheaper deck. I wouldn't recommend it. These are awesome. They're super easy to use. It's not going to feel like you're learning how to code computers when you get in there. You know, it sort of works like your phone works. When you go with the cheaper ones, yeah, you'll use the camera.
I may have to go over the whole back of this guitar. Sometimes we don't walk on water.
And see, on this one,
I've said that a lot lately, walking on water. Amazing.
that, and then camera, and that's it.
I'm sure once it's installed, you can show.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's those squares right there. Hit that, and it'll say camera. Boop, boop, done.
Almost gone.
I don't think this is.
Let's do that one more time. This semi-chrome polish is really awesome.
You hit the squares, and we hit camera view. And then we'll have a switch in there, so you do that, and then you'll have hitch trailer.
So, are you going to have to install the auxiliary camera on?
Probably. I mean,
So I'll need to have a camera.
yeah, or we can.
Doesn't that
do
sound
the truck,
awesome?
Get it done, and then you do the camper. Either way, because I want to do the truck in the shop, and then we could do the camper maybe in the alley.
Boom, gone. Yep, that's how you do that.
Probably won't, but we'll just do it now. Hopefully it'll work.
Plus, it'd be easier.
All right, so
It's easier access to.
we will flip this thing over. Actually, I'm going to go the other way. I'm ready to put strings on this at this point. I've polished all the frets on this guitar.
Yeah. That
Okay.
sounds like a winner.
Let
Put
us,
it on the truck, and then I'll put the camper on,
let's get some strings on this.
and come back down, and
So, Quentin, this is the moment you've been waiting for, if you're still here. I'll just do this for your benefit. No, I'm not going to do it on purpose. I don't have enough time. And I get to get my eyes dilated today. Yay. Really looking forward to that. No pun intended. Am I putting them on correctly? You got the, is that the right direction? Am I doing it right? I'm sorry, Quentin. I'm not going to give you any good footage today. You could probably put that scratch that I put in the guitar up there, but be sure to show the correction. You know, you don't want to, you know, do sound bites. You know, that just wouldn't be proper. Make me look like a hack. That was so funny when I put those strings on that left-handed guitar backwards. That was awesome. Alright, and we're putting a set of 9s on here. I don't know what the gauge of strings were that were on it, and we'll set this up with the 9s. And the reason I'm doing this is because this is what I typically use on Stratocaster shaped objects, and they seem to really respond really well if you're using the whammy bar on one of these things. And I've cleaned the guitar up completely, so this is going to be a real kind of a basic setup today. Let me get you up a little bit higher. There we go. Hopefully that looks all right, and we'll get the strings on this. Get her strung up, get her tuned up. Am I doing this right? Am I doing it right? Yeah, that shim's working. Is that an E? Am I correct? Is my pitch good? Whew. This stuff is just killer polish, you guys. I highly recommend this stuff. It's really designed for work on metal, but boy, it does a great job if you get a little scratch in your finish on the guitar. Man, it's a new product that I just got. Really digging it. Makes my life easy. It's quick and effective, and it does a fantastic shine job on this. Guitars. Let's see. Ooh, that was close. That was close. I had to check my ear. Gotta check your ear once in a while. Alright, here we go. Stringing her up. So we got string action that's super high still on this thing. I could tell that I need another neck shim, and I'm looking at kind of what I've got to work with here. Alright, so I'm going to stop right there, and I'm going to go ahead and pull the neck. Remember, never use power tools on a guitar. Alright, I'm going to pull this neck. Okay, pull this bad boy off of here. I'm going to move some stuff here so that I can have a place to set the neck down. That shim that I used was not tall enough. Okay, so I'm going to have to do a double layer of neck shim on this one. There we go. Set that bad boy down. Here's the shim that I used originally. It goes in there. We'll get you over here where you can see. All right. And let me see. Do I have a thicker piece of shim material? Nope. So, where are my scissors? My scissors are not where I leave my scissors. My scissors are not on my wall. I wonder if someone borrowed them and didn't put them back where they belong.
You know, we both play guitar.
This is the kind of stuff that I might need to go ask a question here of my partners in crime. because my tool's missing.
Yeah, he's the guy that. Marshall, like this guy just got an interface and he has some questions.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did somebody borrow my scissors off of my wall over there?
Borrow what?
A pair of scissors?
God, sure you like them.
Okay. Okay.
I didn't.
Okay.
Right.
Oh, man.
Alright, so my problem is that those interfaces have a big jack hole, and I have a Viper amp which has the little headphone jack hole. So do you have like an adapter?
Oh, you need a 3.5 mil to a 1/4 inch.
Yeah, I think so.
Yep. Let me see. I'm gonna probably have to build one for you.
Seriously?
Well, what we could do, we need that. That will go into your audio interface.
Yep, yeah, this is.
And if you have, I don't know if you already have one of these.
Oh yeah, I've already got one. I just need this thing.
That adapter, that's it.
Alright.
And I've got some different ones here. If you'd like, I'll just give you the option. I've got these guys. They're a little bit different. I'll take that one.
Taiwan.
You got what you need, man.
Yes, you do.
Don't have too much fun. Be careful of your hearing, too.
Oh yes.
Alright, so I'm going to have to use my razor blade because my scissors are missing somehow. That's a little bit annoying. What the heck? This is so much easier to do with the right tool, you guys. I have no idea who borrowed my scissors, but let me look in my toolbox real quick. Let me make sure they're not here. They're not. Did they fall on the ground? Yeah, somebody borrowed them and didn't put them back. Alright. I do love my job, but when stuff like this happens, it really bugs me a lot. It doesn't happen often, but this part is very, very annoying. Because this is so, you can see, if I had a pair of scissors, I could cut this very, very easily and be done with this process in about 20 seconds. But now I'm having to look for my tool, number one, and number two, it takes a whole lot longer to do something that's so simple. Okay. All right. I mean, not that this is like it's super terribly long process, but you'll see why I would rather have a pair of scissors, because this stuff is only, what is the thickness? This is like 1/32 of an inch, so you can cut it with a pair of scissors very easily. So now I've got to do all this stuff, and I'd already be done cutting it with a pair of scissors. Now I've got to cut the corners off of it, and it's still too wide. So now again, a pair of scissors would make this job very, very simple, but they vanished into thin air. I have one place that I keep my scissors, and they go back there every time I use them, and they're not there. And I don't like doing this kind of stuff with a razor blade because you can cut yourself really easily, which that would really piss me off. Okay. So now that fits in there nicely. So I've got kind of a stepped shim. I could have done that in about 1/10 that amount of time, but I don't like wasted steps. All right, so let's remember, never use power tools on a guitar. Give those a little bit more of a cinch here. There we go. That's not an Arnold Schwarzenegger moment. So now I can tell that I'm going to have to raise these saddles up. So that shim was the one that helped a lot. So we'll get you back up here where I'm stringing. All these little steps, you know, it's amazing how much goes into doing something like this for a guy. 1, 2, 3. Get the strings back on her. I like to use my little dyke here to cinch her up. Doesn't that sound nice? I'm really baffled about my scissors being gone. I should shut up about that, but almost done getting strings on her. I hope it's okay that I call guitars girls. Her. Yeah, that's looking nice and tidy. I'm going to get a lot more winds on this string than I would like, but that's alright. It'll still come off very easily when somebody breaks a string at a gig. Alright, so now that I know that my neck action now is okay, now we're getting close. Let's get our Allen key. Yep, that's a proper size. I'm gonna go ahead and make a preemptive strike on the string action height. I'm gonna have to raise these up quite a bit, and I can see that what I'm trying to accomplish is being accomplished exactly with the saddles being taller now, and the set screws are not going to be poking the player in the hand. I prefer solid saddles as a player, and as a tech I prefer these to be solid versus the bent metal. Oh, and you guys, my camera guys have been drinking again. I'm sorry, he can't follow I'm so fast at what I do that he can't follow me along proper. I might need to put some longer saddle screws in this one. We'll see what we end up with here. These things are tall. That looks pretty good. The solid saddles allow you to have a lot more adjustment on your feet, on your adjustment screws here. They let you get away with a little bit more height. So the neck angle on this, yeah, this is looking great. Looks like everything's going to work out. I have no idea what the neck relief is right now, so that could have an impact on the saddles, but I'm just kind of getting them close right now. Looking good. And you'll notice that none of these are sticking up above the strings now, so the guy isn't going to cut his hand when he does his palm muting on his death metal that he plays on this guitar. I don't worry too much about the treble strings on a Strat, because your hand is typically not muting down at that area of the fingerboard, or the saddle, I should say, bridge. Okay. Yeah, that's looking nice. Now let's check the neck relief on this thing. We'll see where we're at. I'm almost kind of hoping that it's backbowed a little bit. I think, which I'm guessing it probably is, given what I'm seeing on here. We'll get you back down here, get you in the picture. Knocking all my tools on the floor. Oh, it's got way too much neck relief. So we're gonna have to tighten the truss rod on this. My 4mm. Where'd my 4mm go? I thought I just used that. There it is. We're gonna tighten this truss rod. All right, that might be a 5mm. Holy smokes, I think it is. So this is old enough to have an actual 5mm truss rod adjustment nut in there. And I shared this info with a good friend of mine that's doing some setup work on his own guitar. If your truss rod, if the rod is actually, I better get Cheryl Crow out of the video because I don't want to get sued. If your truss rod wrench, somebody used the wrong truss rod and stripped out the hex key port on your or socket on your truss rod, a very good trick to try and use is to use a small piece of steel wool. That is the only way I will use a piece of steel wool on my bench. And in fact, I have none here. We do have some out in the shop because we work on cars once in a while, and sometimes they'll help remove some scratching on a finish. Steel wool is not allowed on my bench. However, if you do have a stripped truss rod, placing a small amount of steel wool, this is a 4mm hex key, it's probably the most common size there is, just putting a small amount on there will oftentimes give you enough friction for that truss rod wrench, the hex wrench, to bite. So if you've run into that on your guitars, you might give that a shot. Could save your guitar. A guitar without an adjustable truss rod is worthless, in my humble opinion. All right, hopefully we didn't get too much of Cheryl in that video. All right, yeah, and this is a 5mm. Oh boy, it's loose. Holy smokes. Alright, give it a couple little turns there. We'll see what that did. See how she responded. Hoping you can see what I'm doing here. Still needs just a touch more. So we'll roll it a little further.
You can do whatever you want around here.
Thank you.
Hello.
Hi.
How are you doing?
Good, how are you?
Wonderful. What are you after?
Oh, I'm just looking around.
Look. All right, make yourself at home. All right. Oop. I'm guessing we're gonna be pretty much dead on now. Oh yeah. I could probably get away with a little bit more. But, so now we've got our neck relief set at 12 thousandths. So now is the time that we really get dialed in on our string action. I'm not worried about intonation or nut height at this point. Boy, that's pretty darn good. 4. I'm going to raise that one just a touch. Give this A string just a little bit, about a half turn on each one, and I'm checking to make sure my saddles are all sitting flush with the top of the guitar, or level with the top of the guitar. This one's a little out of level. I'm just going to make a minor adjustment there. Just about at the end of the rope on that D string. There we go. Boy, that's about as high as I can get it. 4/64, that's great. 3.5. I'm going to bring that B string up just a touch. Just a touch. 3.5. And I'll bring this treble E string up just a bit. Again, I'm making sure all my saddles are sitting level with the top of the guitar. We want them to be nice and level. We don't want them tilted, wonky, sideways stuff. It helps tuning stability. It truly does. Okay, so our neck relief is good. And I can see here that you'll notice the saddle is way up on that. So what I've got to do in this case is bring that back down, and we'll start tightening up these. Now the string pitch is going to be raising up considerably at this point. I'm doing my best to not break a string, but now the pitch of the strings are going to be way high, so we'll get this thing tuned up. We're starting to look better down here, but we've got a long ways. Got a ways to go. Still got to go down a bit. See what I'm doing here and balancing this? Hopefully you guys can, I don't know what that is. What is this? Let's make that go away. There we go. Hey, Rody, what's happening? I hope everybody's doing good. I haven't really been paying attention to the chat. Simply because I've got to stay busy, but I'm hoping that you might be learning something about setting up your own instrument. Okay, so okay, I'm gonna give these a couple more, balancing the string tension with the spring tension on the back of the guitar, to make this thing sit right and have the whammy bar working in the correct amount of pull and push. Now we're getting there. You can see this bridge is now starting to lay about where I like to see it visually. So we're gonna go ahead and I made a lot of adjustments on this guitar so far. So I want to try and stretch the strings and get it settled in. My favorite part. Oh, my glasses arrived today too, so not only am I going to get my eyes dilated today, but I'm going to be able to see clearly finally. My vision hasn't changed from the last prescription that I got, which was 3 years ago. So that's a great sign that I'm taking good care of my health. The eyes go first if you're a diabetic. That's the truth. One of the most fragile parts of your body with the tiny little blood vessels. Good. If you're a type 1 or type 2 diabetic, man, keep your blood glucose in check. It's so important. Alright, let's go ahead and put the bar in this bad boy. I'm going to put the spring in there. We'll see if this does anything to help the spring tension when we tighten in this truss rod. Or this, sorry, whammy bar. This is a whammy bar, isn't it? Oh yeah, that's nice. Take a look at how that bar's looking. It looks real good. I mean, visually, I'm seeing where this is tilted. I let them float. If you own a Strat, you should probably think about doing that. Don't lock the thing down. If you're going to lock it down, just buy a hardtail for it. That's my 2 cents on that. All right, so we're in tune. Let's give it a little play and see what she'll do right now. We'll plug her in. Kind of a cool Strat with the humbuckers in it. Really nice, nice little change of pace for having a Stratocaster. They usually have single coils. Most of them do. So calling it a Strat really isn't technically a Strat, because a Strat would have single coil pickups. Hey Richard, what's happening?
Install a DVD player.
Oh,
at a guy's house.
Wow.
Yeah, tough
The
job.
Dark Ages is still alive.
know.
Alive and well.
I know. It's, well, these people, people still buying DVDs.
Oh, I know.
It's weird, huh?
It's amazing.
Yeah, when you mentioned streaming, they go, "What's that?" I mean, you gotta be kidding me. So, all right, just want to say hi, goodbye.
Hey, have a good
Take
one.
care,
See you
man.
later. Whoa. Boy, there's some weirdness going on. So. Okay, so we've got to raise the string action. I'm half tempted to maybe pull one of the shims out of there that I put in it. Falco, shh. Okay, cool. You actually impart a little technique instruction. Yeah, I know. I'm too honest, aren't I? Brutally honest. Okay, so I've got string action on this. It's way too low, but I've made a bunch of adjustments to the bridge at this point. So I pulled the string action down, which yes, we are way too low. Okay, so what does that mean? It means I'm going to remove one of the shims. Yep. I had no idea that the bridge is sitting really nicely. I'm gonna go ahead and go back on my shim, remove this one, and we'll see where we end up. And I'm almost certain that removing this shim is going to put the string action. Let me get you in here in the action. Sorry, my camera guy's still been drinking way too much. Alright, here we go. Don't use power tools on a guitar, you guys. Remember that. Never use a power tool on a guitar. You could damage them. Come out of there. Well, boy howdy. Don't glue shims into place either. Just put them in there and let them get squished. Alright. Is everybody freaking out because I left the strings on it? Are you freaking? I have the clutch on this set really light. It's set at about 6. I think my battery's getting low. I better charge that up, huh? The things we do or have to do. There we go. And this is looking a whole lot more acceptable.
If I leave these over here, will you use them on race strings?
Sure. What do we got? Oh yeah.
Or give them to Joey and make him do it or whatever.
Okay.
Just things we've...
What are... Oh, nylon strings.
Oh, are those nylon?
Yeah,
No.
that's fine. These are great.
Okay.
These look like a really light gauge. Yeah. Did these come in with some?
It was either something we bought or somebody bought them somewhere else and said, "Can I get a set of electric?" You know, I said, "Sure." You know.
Okay. Yeah. Slinky 11 to 42s. That's great. I've never seen these.
Acoustic strings. They're just
Yeah. Huh. That's interesting. It's strange to see them like that.
Oh, I think they're going to be fine.
Oh yeah. Yeah, they'll go at it. They're made of the same factory that they make those $80,000 strings at. Okay, so we're gonna have to. I've got my saddles here set where I really like them. They're comfy, so I'm gonna lower the string action ever so slightly here. And I'm gonna bring it about a half a turn on each one of these. I've got my saddles nice and level. And that's looking good. We'll have to retune the guitar, of course, after I do all of this stuff. The subject of great debate is, should you take string tension off if you're doing this? I don't like wasting my time. I've never taken string tension off to adjust saddle heights, so works for me. That's looking pretty good. I'm going to do a full turn. Ooh. Let's get that sitting. I'm adjusting that string height. Get that string not sitting on the saddle proper. Might as well bring it up to pitch. So we still need to come down just a bit. This is looking like setting up really nicely. The way these saddles are adjusting, I like it. It's almost like these two screws are a little bit different length on this one saddle. Almost looks like they're two different sizes also. Boy, this one's playing hard to get. Typical woman. I shouldn't generalize like that. That's not a good policy. Four. Now we're a little bit high on these ones, so we're going to drop this down ever so slightly. Some of these setups take a lot longer than others. It's kind of interesting that happens, but it does. Bring that back up. Like every time I move one of these, it really shifts a lot. And I'm almost certain what's happened here is that oftentimes with Fender guitars, the saddle adjustment screws in the center two are a bit longer than the outer twos, so that they don't come, almost like these saddles got shifted around at some point. So these screws might be a little bit longer than they need to be. But we're looking pretty darn good. Here we're nice and level across the board. Let's see if we can play this thing a little bit. Let's tune it up and we'll see what's happening. How's everybody doing today? Hello, Justin. Welcome, brother. Oh boy. Axiom, hello, man. Welcome. Oh, I got a prescription ready. That's what's up. That is what is up. Oh yeah. All right. All right. I need a drink of coffee. Check our time. It's 1 o'clock. I'm doing good. I've been working on this thing for about an hour. Making good progress. So let's plug her in. We got the amp shut off right now. I'm going to tune her up. Yeah, Axiom, it's great to see you, man. Let's get you pointed down here at the action. Come on. All right, let's tune her up and see what. Because the bridge is floating, when you tension other strings, it'll pull the other ones out of tune. Once you get it balanced, you're all good. Oh. It's playing very nicely. I think I need to raise the, just in playing it, I think I need to raise the string action ever so slightly. Yeah. Yeah, it sounds pretty good. Little toy amp. Sounds so fantastic. It's amazing. It's just a little toy Ibanez. I call it a toy Ibanez amplifier, but it really does work good. Okay, so I'm noticing some very serious volume discrepancies in the pickups. And what I can see is that oops, let me get you pointed down here. My camera guy, again, he's a drunk. The string action, or the pickup height, is very imbalanced on this. This one's far lower. And they're both way too far away from the strings, which I normally don't see. Usually guys push them right up to way too close to the strings, but these ones have avoided that whole adjustment problem that a lot of people create. My guitar string has no sustain. That's probably why. And again, these little screws that I'm turning here to adjust the pickup heights had little pieces of plastic sticking out from them. And it looked really terrible on this thing. Now it looks like you don't have little pieces of plastic sticking up out of the screw holes. And this bar works great. That tension spring for the whammy bar, those things are, a lot of guys don't even know they exist because they get lost the first time anybody pulls the whammy bar out of a Strat. They fall out of the set screw or the hole. Okay, so we'll see if we can get this volume. And look at how far I'm having to move this one. It's still unusual that I have to move them that far very often. We're still, I'm measuring from the top of the pole screw on that. I'm not adjusting the pole piece itself. I'm just adjusting the whole pickup. This has been my policy for a long time. Yeah. Let's see if that doesn't balance the pickup volume a little bit. I think we should have a little better balance. Wow, amazing what you can do with a couple of turns of a screw. And you know, if you got pickups that are imbalanced, it's probably because some are way too close to the strings and the other is not close enough, or typically pickup height adjustments, as you get them closer to the strings, it makes them brighter. It doesn't necessarily make them louder, but your ears perceive that brightness as volume. Because as men, which are majority of the guitar players in the world, but nonetheless, they've lost the top end of their hearing in most cases. And by the age of 25, most people can't hear any frequencies above 10 or 12K. And if you can, you're a very, very lucky. Ever so slightly on this guitar, and the thing has a 9.5-inch radius. I measured it last night. So what's happening is when I bend notes, they're being cut off. So this adjustment I'm not going to measure. What I'm going to do on this adjustment is I'm going to give it, I'm raising the string height. I'm going to go a half a turn on each screw. So we've got very low string action on this already. I'm just looking at my hex key and turning it a half a turn. And I'm only going to do the bottom, the E, B, and G strings on this guitar. There we go. So now I've raised the pitch of those, so I'll retune the guitar. Get my camera guy. He might be silver today, at least part of the time. The perfect example of what's happening with respect to the guitar fretting out. And let's take a look at what our string action is. It's at 4/64, which is Leo's golden rule. Leo's golden rule. We're going to call that good. In some cases, in some guitars, it's not worth the struggle to be able to do a 3-fret bend. What likely would need to be done on this to make that happen is a fret level and crown, which I've done a ton of work on the frets already. And I do know this guitar player ever so subtly, and I don't believe that he'll be doing a whole lot of 3-fret bends. I'm going to go ahead and leave this guitar the way I have it set up. We can do a one fret bend with that, or I'm sorry, a 2-fret bend, a full step, and have no issues. So at this point, I'm ready to do the intonation, and the guitar will basically be done and ready to go home. Let's see what kind of so I'm able to pull back on the whammy bar and get a 1.5 steps of, at least in this location. Isn't that interesting how the amount of bend you can get out of a string changes as you move up the fingerboard, and the diameter of the strings change. Stuff like that is good knowledge to have up there. Well, thank you. Stratopol standard. Yeah, Stratopol standard, really, pretty much. It's got a 5-position pickup selector switch, which I'm really not 100% certain what each position on this does. I would assume that, you know, in this, we'll try and get this where you can see my pickup selector switch on this. Turn the volume down on this amp. It's kind of cranking. It's a little bit loud. Okay, so 100%. Okay, so that's both pickups. Not 100% certain. Well, there you go. Have a great day. I gotta get going. Peace, y'all.